more ball, fewer infractions. This begins in 2020. The future is near. More access, more everyone, more everything.
August 7th, 2019, show number 24.
This is history begun. This is the XFL.
What is up, my friends, and welcome to another edition of the XFL Weekend Review. I am your host, The Mark, and on this week's show, Seattle Seahawks QB backup battle. All eyes about that for the XFL. Spring League recap, we'll get into that, and so much more. So what's up, everybody? How do you get in touch with the show? You email podcast@xflnewshub.com with your MP3 or your thoughts, or you just use the Twitter, use the hashtag XFLArmy, and the cutoff time is 5 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday. And remember to leave us a review on Apple Podcast, and we'll read it on the show. Question of the week. This week was XFL City's best places to tailgate. I'll get into that in a second. Plus, remember to download, you freaks on the Apple phones, download our iPhone app. And remember to check me out on Dallas Radio, 1160 AM, KBDT Sports Day with John Clemens. That's on Saturdays and Sundays for all our homies in the Dallas area. But now, getting back to this XFL City's best places to tailgate. What we're working on for XFL News Hub is we're doing a review, a fan guide, if you will, for every single stadium in the XFL world. So we're started off this week. We have one for XFL DC Stadium review, Audi Field, because that is my home field. And we lay out kind of everything that a fan would want to know. And this, of course, will grow as the season gets closer and as the season is completed. This guide will get bigger and bigger. So basically what we do is put out there a little bit of background about the field, like where it came from, like Audi Field. It's 500,000 square foot field. It was opened in 2018, home of DC United. Where it is, it's located along the Anacostia River in Washington, DC. How to get there is a section. So in this instance, there's really no place to tailgate. You have to take the Metro. So we have stuff about Metro. We have stuff about parking. And what I wanted to get to was best places to tailgate. That's right. So Dacha is a beer garden down there between the river and Nationals Park. And it's on the way and looks like that. It's like an 800-person beer garden. I'm like, that's the spot. So, and best food to eat at Audi Field. These type of things. So those guys are coming. That's why I asked the question to get fans' response. But I have a feeling people are so disconnected right now with the XFL and the stadiums that we'll lay this out. And then as we go over the next course of a couple of weeks, we'll have that. And then we'll just keep filling it with information as we get what the best food to eat is, where's the best places to hang out, where to find other XFL News Hub fans or fans of the XFL Week in Review podcast and those kind of things. So the other thing I wanted to talk about is that's one feature of XFL News Hub that's coming and is here. The next one is it's really important, I think, for XFL fans to watch the NFL preseason games because this is your chance to see guys that could potentially be part of the XFL draft in October. A lot of these guys are 3-year guys, 2-year guys that have been around for a little while, maybe practice squad guys that are going to get cut here soon. So it gives us a chance to see potential guys that we might like in the XFL. So what we're doing is every week, we did it last week with the Atlanta Falcons versus the Denver Broncos. We put out XFL prospects to watch. And in it, we lay out the quarterback, running backs, and wide receivers. We're not going to go offensive lineman, linebacker, cornerback, like none of that stuff. Just quarterback, running back, wide receiver. We'll keep it simple. We break it down to some players that you should watch. Their year, how long they've been in the league, if they're a rookie, 6-year player, undrafted rookie, 6th-round pick, that kind of thing. And then we update the page after the games are over, kind of with their stats, so you can go back and take a look at it. So we did it for the Denver Broncos and Atlanta Falcons game, and that actually made it so much more interesting to watch because normally I could care less, but I was like, I like this guy. This guy looks pretty good. I really liked the Ben Kurt, the quarterback for the Falcons. He had a strong arm and he looked good. He's for a second-year player, basically. He's been there for a year. Matt Schaub is a backup there. Is he going to be out? Probably not. They'll probably keep this guy, but this guy could make a name for himself in the XFL. Other guys on there, Brett Rippon I think it's the nephew of Mark Rippon. It's not the son. He really didn't do much. You know who stunk it up? Drew Lock. did not look very good. Some other running backs that played that looked good. Khalafani Muhammad for Denver, he looked good. So anyway, we have these kind of wrap-up recaps, and we'll do that for every week of the preseason because I think it's important for XFL fans to get a chance. This is the first time you're going to see potential XFL players on national TV. The other thing is, I'm going to be at the Ravens game this Thursday, scouting players for the XFL. So, of course, the next version of this coming out, which will be by the time this podcast gets released, probably around that time, will be another recap. We're going to take maybe 4 teams. We haven't really decided, 4 or 5 teams. I just kind of run down the players, and we'll have a recap after the games are over. But we're definitely going to hit every team. We want to hit every team once. So I'm really eyeing probably your Seattle Seahawks and Ravens games this week. And then we'll see what other ones might be of interest as we continue to look towards 2020. And no, it's been August and there is no team names. I'm getting the feeling that it's not going to be anytime soon, friends. I hate to break it to you. We'll get into that in a little bit. So wanted to bring up those things to check out. Number one, is our stadium review, which we'll be doing best places to tailgate, that kind of thing, how to get to the stadium, like a real fans insider stuff. So if you have any insight of those stadiums, email me, podcast@xflnewshub.com. Also, our weekly preview / post game of all these NFL preseason games with players that you might want to keep an eye out that could be potential XFL players. So if you're a fan of an NFL team, and even if you don't have an XFL team, watching the preseason games changes the paradigm so much, and it makes it a lot of fun. I was looking forward to the game. I enjoyed watching the game. That was the first time I watched a Thursday night Hall of Fame game, preseason game ever. And not because I was rooting for the Broncos or the Falcons, but I was checking out some potential XFL players. Now, speaking of XFL, we got a special guest on next week, our first guest on the show. That will be next week. That's right. We have a special guest next week. And I think you guys are going to really like it. It will be a surprise. You're just going to have to wait. It's called a teaser. But let me just kind of give you a glimpse into the teaser by giving you next week's question. Next week's question, because we're dealing with team names and we're dealing with our guest. Best XFL team names from the 2001 season and why. Give us the name that you like the best out of the original XFL team names and why. Because I think it's important to look back in the past before we get into the future. And there's your little teaser about potential guest for next week's show. And I'll leave it at that. All right, friends. Without further ado, folks, let's just get into the week that was the XFL. La, la, la. A lot of eyes have been on the backup quarterback situation with the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks starting quarterback, Russell Wilson, signed a $140 million contract for 4 years with a $65 million signing bonus in April of 2019, making him the highest paid player in the NFL. Well, for now. Most in the NFL media believe that whoever gets his backup job, basically the other guy is going to get cut. So the news media is paying very close attention to this backup quarterback situation. But they're not the only ones. XFL Commissioner Oliver Luck is too. See, the question is, on the Seattle Seahawks front office minds and fans' minds, is who's going to back up their franchise's most expensive and vital player? And that answer comes down to 2 guys, Geno Smith or Paxton Lynch. Now, Oliver Luck told theathletic.com that, quote, one of these guys is going to get cut. There's a bunch of those guys, things going on. We might not get all of those guys, the quote-unquote losers of those, but a Geno or Paxton is not going to end up on a practice squad, close quote. Now, the New York Jets drafted Geno Smith in the second round of the 2013 NFL draft, played for the Giants and the Chargers. Broncos drafted Paxton Lynch in the first round of the 2016 draft. That's not too long ago. And he only lasted 2 seasons before being released before the 2018 season. Now, more than likely, the loser of the backup quarterback competition would wind up potentially in the XFL. Smith told reporters recently, quote, I know that I can do a lot of things on the field. I believe that I am a starter. I just need another opportunity, close quote. If either of these players wants an opportunity to start again, really the XFL could be their best option. So who do you think would be better in the XFL? Geno Smith or Paxton Lynch? Because the probabilities are saying that one of these guys could be part of the XFL draft. Let us know what you think. The Spring League finally had its recap. They did their thing, the final summer showcase. This 3-day event was the final Spring League showcase in which the XFL was testing potential rules for the 2020 season. The next showcase will take place in the fall in Atlanta, Georgia on September 24th to 27th. For all you guys who are interested in I want to be a tryout. The Spring League is where you need to go. Now, the XFL will be scouting players there, but there won't supposedly be testing any rules in that. The July showcase was to be the final testing ground for the XFL to have a final rule book to come out sometime in September, October. Now, according to a report by John Wall Street, the Spring League and XFL partnership have been a profitable one. Quote, Vince McMahon's Spring League is among TSL's biggest clients, having spent 6 figures on 3 mini camps like tryouts thus far, close quote. The report goes on to say that preliminary talks between Oliver Luck and TSL CEO Brian Woods could lead to a D-League for the XFL. Quote, the relationship between the TSL and the XFL has gone well. That Woods said that he had preliminary discussions, quote, with Oliver about our league becoming the official D-League of the XFL. Now we have video and full recap of the rosters on XFLnewshub.com if you're interested in checking it out. But a Spring League XFL partnership could be in the works. Well, I'll be at this Thursday's Ravens game, but there's going to be some stuff going on with XFL team presidents. This week, 2 XFL team presidents will be holding a Q&A session with fans. Both will take place Thursday, August 8th. So, if you're interested, the Los Angeles team president, Heather Brooks Carrots, along with offensive coordinator Norm Chow, will be holding a Q&A with fans. The time and place is going to be from 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. at American Junkie in Hermosa Beach. Sounds like a good spot. XFL Houston team president Brian Michael Cooper is holding his Q&A at Christian's Tailgate on Kirby Drive from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. That's in Houston, Texas. And his event includes a chance to win some XFL Houston gear. So if you're attending any of these events on Thursday, August 8th, please email us or email us at podcast@xflnewshub.com with your report. We'd love to let us know how things went, what were some questions that were asked. We'd love to get a recap. So if anybody's out there going to one of these events, let us know. Also in the news, XFL DC team president Eric Moses was chosen to be part of the Washington Business Journal Leadership Trust. This group is an invite-only network of influential business leaders and executives and entrepreneurs in the Washington, D.C. area. The purpose of this group is to, quote, share their experience and insight as they grow the city's culture of collaboration and innovation, close quote. So the XFL team presidents are fulfilling part of the mission statement from Oliver Luck and Jeffrey Pollock, which is be part of the community. Get involved. So expect more of these events as XFL team names are announced and season ticket packages are released. If you're in the area from one of these things, definitely go check it out. It is very rare that you get to go and hang out and with, especially a legend like Norm Chow or a team president to ask them questions. And they're listening to our ideas, the XFL Army, because they want to know what we think because they want this league to be a hit. All right, we'll be back with your social media stuff right after this. Stay tuned. Listen up, XFL News Hub fans. We got something for you. We have an Android app for your phone. That's right. We're excited to announce the launch of this app, and best of all, it is free. So you get all the breaking XFL news and information from XFL News Hub right on your phone. All you have to do is visit the Google Play Store, type in XFL, we're near the top, or just search for XFL News Hub. That's right. In the Google Play Store, that's all that you need to do. So what do you get with this app? You get the latest news from XFL News Hub, the premier XFL news source in the world, in the universe. You get push notifications when we post a new story. That's optional. You turn that on and off so you get notifications when breaking news happens. You can leave a comment right from your phone. You don't have to be on the website. You just leave it right on your phone. You can get, of course, this podcast on your phone as easy, and you can leave us a review on the Google Play Store. You can do that too. Plus links to all of our social media accounts. So it's very simple. Just head over to the Google Play Store, type in XFL News Hub, and download your XFL News Hub app for the Android phone today. All right, let's get to our social media stuff up. Pepe El Toro. Pepe edited a bunch of numbers, says, team names and logos, please. Bro, I'm with you. waiting for that too. C Jersey Dave says at XFL News Hub, downloaded your app is so freaking excellent. Thank you, David. Appreciate it. You downloading the app. A lot of people like it. And I think it's just one of those things we want to get the word out to all XFL fans. Some guys are phone app guys. Some people are browser people. Some people are podcast people. Some people are YouTube people. We just want to get the word out, but we appreciate the kind words. See Jersey Dave. XFL STL Fan Pod said, listen to the podcast today. Thank you. I like the suggested name, the St. Louis Spirits. Oh, that's a good one. I like that one too. But we're all patiently waiting for that to come in. Some comments on the YouTube. We like reading those. Corbin Dendriver says, I have a couple questions. So why do you think they aren't releasing the team names? And when should we get each team's schedule? And I think the underrated potential expansion city is Grand Rapids, Michigan, or Detroit, Michigan. I don't know about that. I think that I don't know. I would hope that it would be before the September draft now. I mean, there's a lot of legal stuff going on, and definitely take your time, do what you got to do to get it right. There's no question about that. And they are a patient league. Fans are getting impatient. The thing is, it's going to drive merch sales. It's going to drive season tickets. Now's the time to strike before the NFL season kind of kicks in. This has kind of been the only little snafu. Not a big deal, but fans are ready. Like, they're chomping at the bit. And we're checking constantly every day get some kind of inkling. But I'm getting the feeling it's not anytime soon. But we'll know, and it will be a one-shot, announce-it-all deal, and it will be done. So thanks for the message. Leon M. said, when is the show going to get some guests on? Next show, my friend. Next show. Chef Paul E. When are the team names being announced? Last I heard was July. Well, July has come and gone. We are still trying to figure that out. We don't know. I thought that they were really close. But apparently, they're not. So I don't know what's going on there. A bunch of numbers says we need XFL fantasy football. We are going to be all over fantasy football for fantasy football XFL. Let me just tell you, we will be all over that. I got some things we're working on that we will be all over that. That's going to be a lot of fun. I would love to start up a league with fans of the show, start up with a league with other podcasters, perhaps. I think it would be a lot of fun. Baba Booey checking in from the Howard Stern Show, but I guarantee you it's not the real Baba Booey. When are team names and unis going to be released? We don't know. See, and people wonder why we put out that article. We had 2 articles about the whole team name thing, and people were kind of on the social media, were like, well, you need to be patient. Blah, blah, blah. People are asking me all the time, constantly, when are team names coming? I don't know. I thought it was going to be July. That's what was said. My guess now is September. But maybe we'll find out one day what the holdup is. As heel, it's nice to see this happening. He's talking about Josh Johnson maybe be XFL bound. I mean, I thought that was really odd. And we talked about that last week's show. He's a strong QB that deserves to stay in a new league and bring the best out of himself. I think Josh Johnson could do that. I think he would look good. Chaotic Intent says at least one name has to be around. It's most likely the Washington, D.C. Generals, just to screw with Donald Trump and his bleeped up of the USFL. And yeah, I never got over it. Yeah, I think there was something about Donald Trump ruining the USFL or something like that. I don't know what that story was. But that's it for the YouTube fandom. Appreciate you guys. On to the Facebooks, talking about Josh Johnson. Bennis, one of our top fans on Facebook, says XFL needs to sign Josh Johnson. I saw him in Washington Redskins team, and the play that he brings to it, he ain't that bad. I really think once you start working with him as QB and bring the best out of him, no matter if it's XFL or NFL, he would be better than all those of us would imagine. Why? Because once you put him on the starting team and he will get the most important QB on the team, he will start and we'll see why the play matters and he'll bring the best out of himself. I would love to see Josh Johnson. I thought he looked good when he filled in for the Redskins. I would love to see him in potential XFL DC uniform. About a great article that we published out there by our man Johnny Lucas. Great article. He put a lot of work into it. Came out excellent, talking about NFL backup QBs that could become XFL starters. Again, another list out there for you guys just to kind of like graze over while this NFL preseason is happening. Scott says, I would add Brett Rippon as well. That's true. Brett Rippon didn't play that great, but that's a definite name that could be out there coming soon. And about our recap of the Spring League, Keith says, how about those team names? See what I'm saying? It's not me, folks. Everybody's asking me all the time about these dang team names. All right, on to the emails. Paul says, when are we going to get the team names? I don't know, man. I want to know. I wish. Danny checking in says, when will the team names be announced? You keep saying that they'll all be announced this week or next week or the next week, but I don't ever see none of it. I'm beginning to lose interest in the XFL. Danny, we all are with you. We want those team names too. He sent that on via our Android app. Remember, we got iPhone and Android app. We're all patiently waiting. I would love to get it by the fall. I want a sweatshirt with my team name on there. It's got to be close, but the vibe that we're getting is it's not any time. There's no set in stone. Like there's no announcement of when the announcement will be. It's just we're not hearing anything yet. And I really think what's going to happen first is we're going to be able to see the trademarks first, and then we'll get an announcement soon after that. And I think they're probably just sitting on all of that. But just tease us a little bit and throw a couple teams on the trademark deal so that we can sit and ponder those because fans are excited. Robert says, talking about the St. Louis team name, he said, name the St. Louis team the Rams, the St. Louis Rams. That would be, I don't think you could do that. But I think they would get sued by the NFL. Keith said, how will players be selected? This is a good question. Oh, thanks, Hamilton. How will you all select your players, and when will they be notified if they made your team or not? Now, I think you're thinking I'm the XFL, but I'm not. There will be a pool of 800 players or so that the XFL will sign, I believe. And then from that, there will be a draft. So everybody who gets signed will get notified clearly by their agent or text or whatever. You'll get, I assume, some kind of official letter, and then you'll be part of the draft pool, but then you won't be on any team until you hear your selection. But then there's also, remember, Team 9, which will be based in Dallas, Texas. That will be kind of like the pool of players that will be in shape but ready to go if there's injuries. And finally, Brian says, there's a strong possibility that you have already decided on team names, but in case you haven't, would you consider the Firebirds for the LA team? The LA Firebirds. Interesting. I'll pass it on, my friend Brian, to the people at the XFL, see what they have to say. But that's it for this week's show, folks. Not a lot going on. My main thing for you guys is to check out the NFL preseason games, potential guys that are going to be in there. If you go to the Ravens game and you see a guy with a backwards XFL hat, it's your boy, The Mark, hanging out at the XFL or at the NFL games. I'm going behind enemy lines, and I've wore this hat forever, and no one says anything to me. But now that I'm going to an NFL game, I'm really curious as to fans will say anything about that. Remember, our question for next week, I really want to hear your thoughts. Best XFL team name from the 2001 season. Let us know why. I mean, I liked Hitman was good. LA Extreme wasn't bad. I kind of liked the New York Hitman. I think that was kind of my favorite. But you got to let us know. And we have a special guest, speaking of XFL in 2001. And that's all I'm going to say about that. There's your teaser. So we have a guest on next week's show. We got the question of the week, best XFL team names for 2001. Maybe we'll get team names. Probably not. But you will still be tuned in because we got a special guest next week, and it's going to be a lot of fun. That's what we do, having here fun, keeping you up to date on the XFL, talking about NFL stuff too. It'll be a lot of fun. So that's it for me, folks. Remember, you can email podcast@xflnewshub.com. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Just look up XFL News Hub. And we got the Android app on Google Play and the iPhone app on iTunes. And remember to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, and we'll read it on the next show. And you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, YouTube, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, anywhere you can get a podcast. All right? It's that simple. Share us with a friend. XFL season is coming. I'm so excited. Really, the next biggest thing for us is NFL Cutdown Day in September. So you got your fantasy football draft, you have your NFL Cutdown Day, and then we'll be dissecting all the players that are potentially out there to be part of the October XFL draft. We're so excited. Thanks for listening, folks. Mahalo to all my friends in Hawaii. God bless you all, and I will see you all later.